In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Jotai, which is a simple library for handling state management in React. Okay, so I've got a simple app up and running in React, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install Jotai. So let me cancel this and let me run npm install Jotai. Okay, so now that that's installed, let's run our server again. If I refresh here, I can see everything is fine. Now I'm going to bring in two extra components. I have a nav and I have a hero and I have a nav bar, and I'm going to bring them in here. So I'm going to bring in my nav bar. And I'm going to bring in my hero. Okay. I'm going to bring in my hero section. Hit save, and you can see I got my nav bar and you got my hero. So I've got two different components here. Now, what I want is I want to have a way to share state between both of these components. So the way we do that in Jotai is we make atoms, and those atoms are essentially holding state which we can use throughout our app. And when we update the state in one place, it updates everywhere else. So the way I'm going to do this is going to be simple. If I just show you, is I'm going to create a folder to hold my atoms, and let me create a file to hold an atom here. And for now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to have a piece of state that shows the current language. So I'm going to call this language atom.js, and I'm going to say const language atom is equal to atom, and this comes from the Jotai package, and what we're going to pass in here is the initial value. So I'm just going to say English and hit save, and let me export this and hit save. Okay, so I can close this, and now if I go into my nav bar, I can get that value by typing in const, and just like we use useState, we can do something very similar here. So I'm going to say const language and the function to set the language, and instead of useState, we're going to use atom. Okay, I'm going to bring in the atom we defined earlier, so this one here. I'm going to bring in the language atom, hit save, and now what I can do is let me put this inside of a h1. Let me make this flex, and let me give it a gap of 10. And over here inside of a span, I'm going to display the language. Hit save, and you can see English is showing up. I can do the same thing inside of the hero section. So I'm going to say const language set language is equal to use atom, and let me get the language atom here. And same thing, I'm going to make this a flex, give it a gap of 10. And this hero here is going to be inside of a h1, and inside of a span, I'm going to display the language. Hit save. Now, what if I wanted a way to change it? So I can go to my app, and I'm going to add a button to the bottom, and I'm going to say change language. Let me just add some styling to it. So I'm going to say background black, text white, padding 2. Okay, and on click, I want to run a function that is going to change the language. So let me make that function up here. Const change language. Make this an arrow function, and once again, let's get what we made from our atom. So const language set language, and this is going to be again use atom, and we're going to get the language atom. So this time I could do something like set language to something like Japanese and hit save, and watch when I click here, both of these pieces of state, which are in different components, all change at once. So if I refresh, go back to English, if I hit change, it goes to Japanese. That's how we can use Jotai to do simple state management.